beautiful Monday morning here in Oshawa, Ontario. It's playoff day at the World Financial Group Canadian Junior Cup. And as we bring you inside the Oshawa Curling Club, once again, my name is Matthew Hall. Beside me in the broadcast booth is Tori Zemelink. We'll be bringing you all the playoff action from across all the sheets here this morning. It is a big day, playoffs, a trip to Switzerland on the line. By the end of the day, one team will win the chance to represent Canada at the Swiss Cup. Tori, goal one for all these teams is obviously to make the playoffs. That's accomplished. Goal number two, try to get a higher seed in the playoffs. Half the teams have accomplished that, but that's all behind them now. Big day. You, as a former champion of this event, know what it's like to get into this playoff format. What are these teams going to have to do to come out victorious?
Well, with both these teams coming in at 3-1, they're just looking to continue that momentum. Not having played each other in the round robin, this should be a close game. Two very good teams. So they're just looking to keep things going.
And we'll take a look now at our feature matchup here on this quarterfinal morning. Throwing the yellow stones and representing the Dundas Valley Golf and Country Club, lead Nate Shirk, second Jordan Carvalho, third Thomas Del Conte, the skip Tyler Smith, and their coach Byron Scott. Coming up against them, the higher seed will be starting with the hammer and throwing the red stones. Lead Evan Medor, second Nathan Kim, third Dylan Stockton, the skip Evan MacDougall, and the coaches are Tim Lindsay and Jerry Sunwall from the Guelph Curling Club. And a little bit of the road to the playoffs for these two teams. Of course, you mentioned both teams at 3-1, winning their first matchups of the weekend before slipping back with a loss, but bouncing back very nicely to score two more wins coming into the playoffs. What does that momentum mean to these two teams as we move forward into the quarterfinals?
Well, I think it just gives them that extra boost of confidence that they're looking for coming into this game. MacDougall winning a close one last night to get the second seed, I believe. So they're just looking to keep it going.
And not the only game on the ice. We do have plenty of other playoff matchups. Two sets of quarterfinals here this morning for both the U21 men and women. We'll take a look at the men's playoffs first. Nichols facing off against Garner, our feature game there, Smith and MacDougall. McDonald facing off against Rowe. That's a game that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on. A rematch of their game from yesterday where Rowe was able to come out with a final end victory against Team McDonald. And we close out the men's side with Team Tremblay from Quebec facing off against Team Switzerland. Now the women's playoffs, number one seed Team Tarek facing off against Pekowitz of the United States. Dazura facing off against the winners of our feature game from yesterday, Team Wrigley. Number two seed Vivier will take on Caitlin Langford. And the fourth matchup is probably the one I'm most excited for on the women's side. Team Fortin from Quebec coming up against Team Morgz-Obervallis from Switzerland. Two out-of-province teams, two teams who have come a long way and seem to be finding success here on this Oshawa ice. It'll be a fantastic day here. We'll keep you updated on all the scores of all the matchups, as well as updating those brackets as they get settled in. Once again, my name is Matthew Hall. Beside me, Tori Zemelink. And when we come back, the quarterfinal matchup, Team Smith versus Team
Hey, Stu Sells Teams followers. I'm at my brand new listing here at 60 Indian Grove, and I'm so blown away I have fallen over, and I can't take my eyes off this gorgeous original molded ceiling that is absolutely stunning. We are bringing this 1911 Grand Estate to market, and it is going to blow your mind. Let me get up and show you what I'm talking about. Look at this woodwork. When they did the renos, they actually took all this wood down. They sent it to Montreal, had it professionally refinished and stained, and they reinstalled it. Like, it is absolutely breathtaking. The pocket doors, the lead glass French doors. It's like, it's so unique, this home. It is a grand old estate. The top third floor is a beautiful prime retreat with big closets, its own bathroom, soaker tub, walk out to a balcony, you go to the second floor, 3 large bedrooms, wraparound office, floor to ceiling windows, gorgeous view, and then this is like entertaining central. Actually, the Oscar-winning film JFK was filmed in this living room. It's had multiple movies, commercials, and then the dining room is so grand, and the parlor, and oh my God, there's so much to tell you about this amazing home. You gotta come and see it. And you know the extra bonus? Corner lot, laneway housing potential, single car garage, and a full separate legal 1-bedroom apartment in the basement you can rent out. So look, we're right in the heart of Ronse's High Park. You can walk to the park, it's just down the road. Great shops, great cafes. It's such a beautiful, stately home that you have to come look at it. So go to stusells.ca, see all the photos, the videos, the virtual tour, and give me Stu a call for a personal tour.
And welcome back once again to Sheet 4 quarterfinal matchups here at the World Financial Group Canadian Junior Cup. We see Team MacDougall taking on Team Smith here. MacDougall throwing the red stones, sitting shot, and throwing now with the hammer. So a good chance here in the first as their third, Dylan Stockton, prepares in the hack. Not too many rocks here in play so far, Tori. We talked about this especially early on in the weekend when teams were still getting used to the ice, maybe trying to figure out what the speed was, exactly what all the paths were. We saw a lot of defensive play. Everything got a bit more aggressive as we moved through the round robin, but you tend to, when you move on to the playoffs, you want to keep things close. You don't want to let any games get out of hand too early or let it get away from you. I think we'll see a little bit more defensive play today from all of these teams.
Yeah, maybe at the start of each game, but as we see here in this game, Evan MacDougall trying to get right into it with a few more rocks in play, choosing to throw their the guard with their rock on the forefoot instead of hitting that one at the back 12, which was his first motion. This rock slipping into the 12-foot, leaving a double.
Yeah, keep an eye on that yellow stone, though, at the back of the 12-foot. You're going to have to cut this double a little bit thinner than you would like to make sure it doesn't make contact with that back stone. Thomas Del Conte throwing the third stones for Team Smith.
Yeah, hard! 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 Hard all the way! Hard! Hard!
Looks like he's just going to get one of them and will roll out of play.
Two fairly young teams meeting up in this quarterfinal matchup. Still a few years of U21s ahead of them. But not to say that they're inexperienced. In fact, experience runs in the family in terms of Thomas Del Conte, his older brother Daniel, a former champion of this event.
Yeah, you're 11-7.
As well as a Ontario U21 provincial champion.
Should have given you more ice on the first one too, I think. So.
That was tight though, because we just nicked the guard.
Oh, we got hammer, Sorry.
You got this.
Evan MacDougall now choosing to hit that stone at the back of the house.
Yeah, you heard some mention from them that spot that they threw the guard on was a little bit tricky. They're calling it a run, so it might have been a little quicker than they would have expected it to be. So maybe getting a little spooked and choosing to hit this back one, but not a lot of weight on this.
No, I think he threw a little less than he was wanting to. Gonna end up splitting his own. One of them, the shooter, spinning out of the rings.
Yeah, line was fine too.
Yeah, not enough ice.
That was a new spot.
Maybe a little
Would've-
bit of first end jitters here in this playoff game.
Yeah, would have maybe been the best outcome he could hope for if that shooter actually stuck around to sit too. But yeah, and you see that a lot at all levels. Sometimes you just forget it is the first end of the game. It's going to be a little bit fresh, especially down the center line. Usually in your pregame practice, you're working in that path to the button. Now, all of the playoff matchups today, the hammer is decided, so there is no draw for hammer. The higher seed will get the hammer in all these games. So maybe they weren't quite working in that draw to the button as much as you normally would. But usually you don't see teams adjust their practice all that much. So you work in that path to the button, and some of those other spots on the sheet, down the center line, out wide, draws off of the center. That's where you might see a little bit of frost, and you have to make sure to throw a little extra weight here early on in this game.
See Team Smith choosing to play the hit on that wide one, and that one moved on him.
Really good sweep. Nice shot.
Clean for the first bit down the sheet, and then had to go hard for the sweep to hit half the stone.
Hit more than enough to
moved that
stick
out
around, though,
too.
so
He moved that out a lot.
I know.
Hit roll on top of it.
Yeah.
Sorry about that last one.
No, you're good,
It
buddy.
was a good throw.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. New spot.
How much weight?
Control. Okay. I'm expecting it to be dead, almost dead straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it, brother.
Evan MacDougall with his last here in the first end.
10-5. 10.
Yep. Yep. Whoa! Oh, oh.
Hard, do it!
Go.
Just not getting the roll in front. So Team Smith with a nose hit for two.
yeah, and I think I got a little confused earlier,
Fine.
Tori.
You're fine.
Both these teams with identical record. It is Team Smith with the higher seed, not MacDougall, because of their better LSD total. So Team Smith with the hammer, and you're right, an open hit for two.
Yep.
Exactly what you're hoping for to start a quarterfinal matchup here.
That's fine. Don't worry about it. We hit the rock. It's super straight there.
It's 10-4. Good weight, too.
Okay. No, it's definitely the ice.
Final stone here in the first for Tyler Smith.
He's dumping
Hit
it.
and stay in the rings for 2 points.
Dumping them?
Yeah, it's like slid wide on hold. I mean, you might want to sweep.
Whoa! Yes!
Clean.
We'll move that red and stick around. So nicely done here for Team Smith in the first. 2 points go up on the board, and after a quick
Yeah,
break
I
when we
thought it
come
was a
back,
lot. Maybe just
Team
girls further
MacDougall will
inside
find
there.
themselves in a
Yeah, I know.
2-point
Just overthrew
deficit,
it. Yeah, that's
looking
fine.
to come back with the hammer.
Hey, curling fans, I'm standing here in front of Sheet Stew here at the High Park Club, and I just want to let you know that I'm so excited to sponsor the sport of curling, to help curling out. So you can go to stewcurls.com, see all my events, see the Stew Sell series, but you know what? I also sell real estate as well. So you need to buy a house, list a house, condo, rental, business. Look, give me Stu a call.
Blocks do stay straight when you have someone sweeping it. Like, it doesn't move. I think through
And as we pick up here, start of the second end, throwing the lead stones for Team Smith, Nate Shirk out of Ayr, Ontario. Math and computer science student at McMaster University.
Where?
3!
4.
3!
Take a look, guys.
Gotta go! 3!
Line's good. Switch.
3!
Switch.
Gotta go.
4,
All the way. Don't stop.
5.
Don't stop. Don't stop.
Yep, you got it. Keep it going. You got it.
6.
You got it. Right here, guys.
6. We got it. We got it.
Good sweep.
Well, have a
Really
look,
good
have a
sweep.
look,
Oh, very nice. Great sweep, guys.
16-5.
And so Tori, for Team Smith there in the
16-5.
first end, you're coming in, like we mentioned, younger team,
Wow.
not too long out of
It's moving.
U18s, couple years of experience ahead of them. Maybe you start to feel a little bit of pressure now that you're into the quarterfinals, top 8 here at the Canadian Junior Cup. Could you imagine a better start, though, to this quarterfinal matchup? Not only getting a chance for 2, but just a nice open hit, nice easy shot, not much pressure on you. You're able to capitalize and get that deuce up early.
Yeah, of course. And I think coming in as that higher seed with your LSD, you just have that little bit more confidence. But that's not to say Team MacDougall isn't coming in ready to play. Both these teams, same record. You have to assume it's going to be a close game. So you got to prepare yourselves to play all 8 ends.
And rules of play for today, 8-end regulation games. If we are tied after 8 ends, there will be a full extra end played. That is the one difference from the round robin where it was a draw to the button. 5 rock free guard zone as well as the no tick rule also in effect.
You see Team Smith looking just to put one on the top 12.
Very Evan.
You're not going to get there. Becky, you're not.
This rock holding pretty wide.
We'll stay in.
Evan MacDougall's going to see how far he can drag this one. It will just slide out of the rings at the back.
We've seen that spot all weekend, Tori. That in-turn draw coming home is the fastest spot, I think, in the whole club from what we've heard. And the ice very susceptible to throwing and sweeping multiple shots down the same spot. Nate made a perfect draw with his first stone. You'd imagine he'd be able to make a pretty good adjustment, get close with that second one. But that spot, with just that second rock down the same spot, ends up being 3-4 feet faster than you expect. Maybe a little bit extra weight out of the hand, and it slips all the way through.
7.
This one just getting by that guard. Great draw by Evan Mador.
Wow, it's hard to bury here. Is it
Got
though?
by like paper. Good.
Okay.
You can hear Team MacDougall saying, oh, that was hard to bury it, Matt. And they barely got by that guard.
Yeah, couldn't fit much air between those two stones. And that's another pattern that we've been seeing earlier on in the weekend. That draw around the corner guards would have been much easier. If you play it that close to the guard, you're probably going to end up at least half open on the other side. But it's just been straightening out a little bit over the weekend as the rocks get a little bit more worn in. Just means you have to be that much more precise with your line.
Where?
4, 3. Sorry, Jordan.
Oh, then.
3, 4.
Just clean.
3, 4.
Jordan here with his first.
We're really wide.
6, 7, 8,
Sweepers calling this one heavy too.
10. We're back there again.
Evan MacDougall giving this one a go.
What?
It will
15. Like we gotta bring
quite
it back.
easily
16,
go through
17,
that
Like,
the back of the house.
That's fast.
Aggressive play here by Evan, choosing to draw another one around that corner guard.
Yeah, especially with, we saw in that last one how difficult it was to make sure you were buried, how close you had to play it to the corner.
Maybe it's a rock difference. You can.
Have to be very precise with this. If you have a little bit off in pretty much any direction, you're going to afford the opportunity to your opponents to maybe make a double, get out of it.
9. Slow, slow.
Nathan Kim with his first.
Great. Okay, whoa, right back. Right,
This
hey,
one's
oh!
sliding a little deep, so they're looking to sweep it past their one on the tee line to not leave a double or a pocket.
Okay.
It's going to sit at the back 12.
So it'll hang around kind of in a tricky spot. I mean, it's third shot. A rock back of the 12, maybe not something you immediately think about hitting, but you'd hate to ignore it and have it come back into play later too. I think I really like the peel, though. You have to open this up, try to give yourself the chance at a double later to get out of it.
Absolutely. And it's so early in the end that you're going to have multiple double opportunities. You just have to start grouping stones.
You got this, Jordan. Nine.
Yep.
Yes, yes, yes.
see Evan MacDougall call to replace that guard, maybe a little bit tighter.
Yeah, a little too early in the end to hit that open rock. I mean, you'd love at any point to sit 3, especially being down 2, but there's a pretty makeable double on those reds as is, so he just wants to waste a couple stones, give his opponents 1 or 2 fewer chances to make that double. This one wide out of the hand, and we've seen it struggle to curl.
Hi, Dylan, you got it!
Dylan Stockton really working to make this one curl.
Get over.
Does fairly well, all things considered. I believe covered at least half of that stone in the rings.
Very nice sweep, Dylan.
What?
Very nice sweep.
Yeah. Is it buried enough?
They can't get the roll under.
Okay.
Yeah,
See
run back.
Thomas Del Conte wanting to play the run back.
Right there.
But Tyler Smith
I say you
looking
play
at
it,
that
and if you
double.
peel, that's fine.
One more. Okay.
You can play this.
I like that. I like that.
Okay.
That's risky.
Peel. You like this way?
Yeah.
I think I like this. That double's fairly tough, and if you don't make it, they're just going to draw around again. Gets 1, touches 2, just misses that back red, but a very nice shot there by Thomas Del Conte. Removed 2 of the red stones. Doesn't quite roll far enough to cover his own, but I think you're breathing quite a bit easier here if you're Team Smith.
This board, roll under.
Dylan Stockton with his first, looking to throw a board weight, hit and roll.
Boy, straight. Hard. Wait straight. Really hard.
Hard!
Just let it touch center.
Struck really curling, thinking Dylan might have got this one going a little bit, Matt.
Go.
You definitely need to stick around here. I don't think they will. Actually saved a little bit by the weight that they threw. Hit a fair bit less than half a rock, so I thought it might spin out easily, but the fact that it was board weight coming across the face just enough to slow it down, it hangs on in the side of the 12-foot.
And a great sweep by Evan Medora to hold that line.
Tyler can't ignore these red stones. He has to remove at least one of them here while he has the chance.
Whoa, girl!
Was looking like a hit.
Hard. Any roll.
Only rolling an inch or 2.
It's 9-5.
Fine. Good sweep, guys.
Just a hair heavy, 9-5. Good throw though. Great shot on your last one.
Throw first. I think that's it. Make the triple.
Control, get the roll.
Yeah. My bad. You're good.
My last one caught my thumb at the very end.
Yeah. Ten! Hard, mate. Hard for nose. Hard for nose. Hard
Trying
for
to
nose,
get this one to move.
Go. Right through. Whoa!
So he will get the nose hit.
tolerance is that double?
Yeah, I agree.
Because if you make the double, he's drawing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
Those
then-
hits are
You're right,
tricky
yeah.
on this sheet.
Because even if he makes the freeze there, we just
further
cap it off
out you
and-
go, the straighter the
Right
rocks tend to
here,
run. So
tolerance is maybe over
when
a
you're out
smidge.
there into that 12-foot area, especially, we saw on both of those last rocks
a little
them
bit
trying
less.
to
Yeah, that's,
get those stones to curl up a little
Right
bit
here.
more.
Stick around
They
full
weren't
draw.
quite able to get it as much as they wanted. Any sort of small outward motion ends up being exaggerated with the way the
Playing a
ice
roll
is out
buried.
there.
If we're wide, then we play the double there. Yeah. Little bit more. Yeah.
Little down. Hard. Hard, Prince. Hard. Hard. Whoa.
Whoa, guys. Girl.
My fault.
Makes a
Not
hit
bad.
and roll, mostly on top of that back
Not
red
bad.
stone. Let me see, Evan
Really
MacDougall
good
called
throw.
for
Yeah. Good sweep, guys.
to hit himself. But got to be careful
you're
on
good.
this one, Matt. You don't want to jam that on your back red.
Yeah, as I already mentioned, this spot runs so
10-3, so
straight.
weight
Might
wasn't that
curl up a
bad.
little bit more because you're that touch closer to the forefoot, but you'd hate for this one to run a little wide and jam.
Because you were like hitting, it looked like you were hitting 3/4 and
Yeah, just straight up there.
yeah, it just didn't move. Once you start sweeping it.
It's all good. No worries.
Because you hit 3/4, I think, and you needed half that. Or two first half.
Of course, as mentioned, all 8 sheets are in play this morning, quarterfinal matchups for the U21 men and women, and we'll keep you up to date as much as we can on all of the other games. Starting with sheet 1, the number 1 seed on the women's side, Team Terra, coming out with a 2-0 lead after one end against the Pekowitz of the United States. Fortin versus Morgz-Obervalis. This is the game that we pointed out as a very nice hit and roll there is made by Evan MacDougall. This is the matchup that we pointed out as something to keep an eye on, especially on the women's side. Blank in the first, so they're keeping it close. Sheet 3, Garner forced in the first. He holds a 1-0 lead over Team Nichols. Of course, our feature matchup is here on 4, but over on sheet 5, Team Dezura cracks a 2 in her matchup against Team Wrigley.
Throw 9 and you think you can catch it?
Sheet 6, our other feature matchup, showing a static stream on our YouTube page. So feel free to jump back and forth if you want to check if you're a fan of the teams there. But Team Tremblay from Quebec takes 2 in the first, so he holds a small lead over the team from Switzerland. Over on sheet 7, a big start to this one as Team MacDonald, one of the teams that you think is the favorites coming into this event with their with how hot they've been this season, they crack a big 4 to start their game over Team Rowe, maybe looking for a little bit of a revenge from their matchup yesterday. And finally, over on sheet 8, the number 2 seed, Team Vivier, with a 2-0 lead over Caitlin Langford. And actually, that second end just finished. I see them put a steal of 3 up on the board. So Team Vivier opens up a 5-0 advantage after 2 ends in that quarterfinal game.
You have to play to go
So
that
we
way.
can see Team Smith here
He's right,
eyeing
but,
up
like,
that
you just play
double.
board and knows it. And
I think you get it with 3/4.
okay, I think we have to play softer weight then. I don't think we can play big weight at it.
It's your call, you're throwing.
I'm fine to play 11 and go for it, but you just got to make sure we're by the guard. Yeah.
I know,
We'll
that's
keep,
what I'm wondering if you
as I said, we'll keep you updated on all the scores as much as
think
we
it's there
can here on the broadcast. But if you want live updates on the scoring of any of the other games, you can check out all the live scores on CanadianJuniorCup.ca.
I don't think it's there catching it straight with normal.
So board.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got it.
So 11 or you want 12?
I like the call.
He likes throwing big
Back
weight
on our
at it.
feature
I know.
matchup here,
I like
Tori.
it, though.
Tyler Smith would love to make a double here, but be careful. This is one of those trickier spots. We saw Evan MacDougall
11-5.
attempt to hit down the center
11-5.
line with this turn in the first end. Got a little light, took off on him. You really need to be precise with what weight you call.
Yeah, I'm a little unsure on what they decided on, whether they to play the hit and roll behind that yellow guard or this double. They are throwing a softer weight, so we'll see how this one ends up. Gotta go to get by the guard. Great sweep by.
Gets one, but
Pressures on
just
that one.
misses that back red. So a great sweep there
Good sweep, guys.
by Nate Shirk to hold the line, but just not enough to make the double.
Good line call.
Now Evan
I was up on that?
Evan MacDougall with
11?
an opportunity
Yeah, I was
to
11.
have a nose hit to take his two right back.
Yeah, if your team Smith would have loved to make that double escape from this end, but you already have a 2-0 lead. Give it two back. You know you're going to have Hammer tied up. So definitely, while they may be disappointed with the result of this end, can't be disappointed with the overall result so far after two. Final shot here in the second. Chance to tie it up.
Right there. Right there.
See this rock starting to curl, but Evan Medor saying clean. It was a well-played end
No,
by
that was like board, yeah.
Team MacDougall there,
Yeah,
but
board. No, it was like
tie game going into the third.
Peace of mind, the life you want, and financial independence. At World Financial Group, we believe your path to any of these goals is paved by financial knowledge. That's why our agents spend every day empowering individuals and families of all backgrounds with the knowledge to create the life they want. No matter your financial goals, WFG can help you own your future. Visit worldfinancialgroup.com to learn more.
Picking up here at the start of the third end, Evan Medor throws the lead stones. For Team MacDougall, chemical engineering student at the University of Waterloo. Also holds the broom for Evan on those skip stones.
We're over. We're over. You're good. You're good. No, keep going. Well, way too high. Oh, we can't take it much further. That's fine.
We'll split the center line, but nice high guard there, Matt.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they decide to throw a second center guard. We've noticed that with a little extra weight, the Rocks do tend to run a fair bit straighter, but that guard being so high, likely still be able to chase anything that Team MacDougall throws around it into the forefoot. Keep a lookout for later in the end if Team MacDougall decides to get something a little bit tighter to the rings they might be able to hide behind.
Thomas is rock if you're going. Just wait. 16-2. Looks like you gotta go, guys.
Really
Yep.
good on this one if the weight's
Hard
close.
for 6. Hard.
Might overcurl just a hair.
Nice shot.
Yeah, it's going to
Nice
show
guys.
probably about a quarter rock on that left side of the sheet as we look at it right now.
So we're right back, sort of where we started, Tori. A tie game with Team Smith having the hammer, but 2 more ends taken off the board. And as you shorten up the game, having the hammer just becomes that much more important. So I would say through first 2 ends, Team Smith have increased their advantage from the start. Still a very close game, but they got to be happy with how things are going so far.
Okay, we're poking up the other side. Yeah. Whoa.
We're there for it.
Curl. Great, that works.
And a great second shot there by Evan. Nice freeze on that yellow stone, keeping a bit of an angle, which makes it a bit more accessible later on to remove that yellow. with either
No,
turn.
It's the same.
Same amount wide.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, you made it. You made it.
Okay. I thought
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was supposed to go the way around.
Nope. Nope. Guess what?
Nice shot, Evan. Oh, jeez. Oh, boy.
Sorry, Matt, I missed the call here on this one.
7, I think. 7, 8.
I believe the call was just a corner freeze. The red follow Evan down and freeze onto that red stone. Looks like maybe a little bit more weight than they were hoping for, though. May play the draw around.
Here then. Yeah. Curl. Whoa. Not bad.
15.
Maybe it's rocks too here with this, because that's twice in a row that he's gone good and then deep.
I've got a corner, too. Damn, lefty.
You think you get this with space?
Sure.
Wanting to remove this back yellow stone, definitely an option. I thought they might lean a little bit more towards just freezing onto that yellow rock. Yes, even if you freeze, you'll be back 4, but you know, you start to build up a little bit of a wall back there. You get a red spot, a red rock in a spot that would be completely unremovable. And that's how you kind of start to build pressure on your opponents, maybe leading towards steal. Trying to get this one to curl up now. Weight looks close.
Looks like they
Get over
it. That rock. Great.
All right, buddy,
sweep
go.
by Dylan. That was a great shot.
Yeah.
That was so out there.
Yeah, you see what I mean? It was a great shot for the one that was called, but rolling that redstone out to the wing, now back at the 12-foot. That's not a rock that Team Smith should be really worried about having hammer in this one.
No, not at the moment. You see Team Smith playing that freeze draw attempt again. Jordan Carvalho.
Five.
Rock.
Hair wide.
4.
First
3.
First rock.
Gotta go, head down. Go.
Line
3.
This one maybe being a little bit of an
Just
overcorrection.
wait. Line's good.
3, 4.
Curl.
Getting a
Curl.
little
Go
lighter.
hard.
Yep. Well.
Yep. Curl.
Sweep.
Where are you?
We're
Roll that,
freezing.
roll.
Freezing. Did I pop it?
Thought we were 3.
That's that cheeky double there.
Great outcome
pop
here
it?
with this one, Matt.
Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication there. The weight not
Getting
too
north.
far off of
Sure.
what they wanted to. Maybe ended up only a foot deeper
I'll
than
throw it
freezing
clean.
that red one, but there was a fair bit of sweeping as well.
Straight
And
through.
this is a very makeable
Yeah,
nose
second
hit
one.
now
Oh, yeah.
for Nathan Kim. Little bit trickier for him as a left-handed curler. The guard is slightly more in the way just because of the hack that he delivers from.
Whoa.
Should still be very close on this.
See this rock just backing up a little bit. Looks like they're only going to get the one, but will spill that second yellow out to the side.
Sorry.
That works.
Yeah, I don't want to draw 8. I don't mind that.
You like that?
I like it.
Got to be above T though.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is the shot right here, top 4.
Or do you like this side? I like going this way. To not leave the double? Yeah. I like the draw.
This way.
Yeah, I think I like Nate's
Yeah.
Still got to be above T though.
to draw with that out turn.
Definitely a little bit more difficult, I would say, just because you have to go a little bit wider. And because the red is slightly exposed on that side in the rings, you don't have as much space to get buried. But the reason why this draw is a lot better than the intern is that if you happen to maybe only get half buried, show half a stone, there is no double available, where with that intern especially, we've been seeing it tracking straight. If it ever hangs on you and you show a piece, good chance you'll either leave a double off of that stone or maybe an in-off of the one in the 8 foot. This is much easier to avoid that possibility.
Hard straight. Yep, hard straight. You got it. Hey, you're mine. Whoa.
In the 8 foot to sit.
Girl, right here.
Don't want to bring this too deep behind the tee line.
That's good.
Looks like it's going to sit just at the back of the 4 foot.
I think maybe just a little bit overswept there, Tori. I think, take a look at the overhead here, but I think that ended up slightly behind the tee line. Sure, there might be a double off of that yellow stone on the left side of the 8 foot.
Let's see Evan MacDougall
Call maybe the peel.
looking at that. I'm not sure I'm a fan of peeling your
This is
guard
going to be
here,
close.
though.
Yeah, no, that red stone is
You can try
beneficial for you. Really, if you look at this setup, it does look like really you have 2 guards here. There's the obvious one, the rock up by the hog line, but that rock in the top of the 12 foot is just acting as a second center guard for you. So you have the opportunity to maybe go a little aggressive, hope for a steal here if you can make this double and sit buried.
Straight. Whoa.
Sounds close. Gets one and just rolls underneath the second. So just a little bit of a missed line call there by Team MacDougall. Little fuller than they would have liked to. And now, still not easy if you're Tyler Smith to decide where to put this second stone. You could play the out-turn draw and try to replace it, but that draw off of the center line is not a shot that
I don't mind this
Team
way,
Smith
but
has
you have
played
to be
much this
half-buried.
this game already, so would be a bit of a guess.
This way is probably safer.
I would agree with
I'm
that.
fine with this way. Just through it. Same thing. 16-2.
Yeah, we could, if we're like half
Now,
open, we're like top
Thomas
8,
Del
it's
Conte
perfect.
here trying to replicate
Yeah.
that draw.
Trying fully bury in between.
Yeah, I could play this either way. I do think the intern's a little bit safer, but they just threw the out turn, so they have a good idea of what it's going to do. And with that red stone in the back corner of the 12 foot, if you happen to show a piece on this outside side, jams are always a possibility.
Yeah, 7. 7.
Where?
7. 6. 6, 7. 7, 6.
Girl.
Needing to curl a little bit.
Freeze it. Girl. Hard curl. Hard curl. Hard curl. Freeze it. Nose.
Will leave
I touched
double
it all.
for Team MacDougall.
15-5.
Yeah, it's a little up. This way a little. It's up.
Did it move?
I don't think so, but it's up to you.
It looks the same. It's fine.
Those out turns tracking a little bit. So far in this game, ice seeming maybe a little bit straighter than what we saw in the round robin. I mean, we were always saying that you have to be very aware, be very precise with your line, that it's very release sensitive. But today, so far, even that little bit straighter, especially on those draws to the button. Seems to be close.
Great job.
Touch both, avoids that back red stone. And
That was huge not to get that one.
yeah, I thought it might be close, especially since it seemed like he was going to hit it a touch on the inside, but he's able to push it underneath and now sits 3. Team MacDougall here in the third. Pressure
A
looming
little more that way.
for Thomas Del Conte, delivering the third stones here.
Trying to get a hit and roll under that rock on the top 12.
Hard. Hold it there.
Hard.
Whoa. Hard. Yes. Whoa. Roll it.
Pretty good.
Able to get a little bit buried from the right-handed hack. Should probably be about half.
Nice shot, Thomas.
Team Smith wanted to give a shout out to 84 Station in Sudbury, one of their main sponsors for this season. Of course, we both remember Tori playing at this level. You know, those sponsorship dollars really allow you to do so much more. Travel around, compete in all the events you need to get better. So we thank all the sponsors who are willing to open their pockets to help junior curling here in Ontario and around the world in the case of our out-of-province and international teams that are here.
Well, it gives younger curlers an opportunity to play in events like this and get that experience to play those teams from out of province and out of the country.
Yeah, and those out-of-province teams probably, you know, they don't have that sponsorship. Booking those flights, traveling all the way here to compete in this would be a much bigger challenge. Evan MacDougall now looking to remove this yellow stone.
Got to be careful, though, not to jam this on the one on the side of the back 12.
Touches a small piece, actually cuts it over the top of that red.
That was hard to do.
Fire me up. Fire me up. Good sleep, Nate.
Sweet. Very dialed in right now.
Good sleep. Beauty.
But because that hit and roll, not quite made by Thomas on his, but because Evan has to pick it, hit and roll out, now affords Team Smith the opportunity to have the first chance at this draw around the center.
Good.
You want to put this right to the full top of the forefoot, maybe biting the button. Have to be a little bit careful. You want to have enough weight deep enough that you can bury it, but you don't want to go so deep that Team MacDougall can just follow you down and freeze to be either shot or cut down a fair portion of the rings.
Back 4, 7.
Tyler Smith with his first.
7, 6, 7, 7.
Okay, back 4, guys.
Computer engineering student at McMaster University. Originally from Sudbury, Ontario.
Keep sweeping. Don't stop. Don't forget
Rock really hanging out right now, but it's working its way in.
It may end up being a little bit heavy, but job one is to get this buried, and I think they've done
What'd you get on the short?
it well enough.
Okay, so I need a 55.
I think 50's better.
I did see
50?
Nathan Kim chase one earlier in the end in this similar spot, so may see them play a hack weight at it, but if you want to be a little bit more aggressive, could follow it down and play a freeze.
An inch. There's how much? Like a sliver.
Yeah, Evan MacDougall choosing to throw the draw.
Yeah, that guard's so high that I have no doubt you'd be able to chase it, but I think that just forces you to be you have to play it a little bit closer to the guard. A couple more chances for something to go wrong there. I think with the draw, you could play the perfect freeze. If you're a little bit light in your top forefoot, as long as you get it buried, a good chance to steal there. Definitely gives you a little bit more wiggle room here on this draw.
Yeah, okay. Just make it then.
Right on the pin is great. Yep.
Okay.
Evan MacDougall and the chance to apply pressure.
Definitely close. 5, 6. Good, Dylan.
Gotta be easy calling the curl here. We've seen some rocks jump when teams switch to that, but this looks to be okay and have tons of room.
Yeah, line looks okay. Just be sweeping for weight here to get it frozen.
And that's a great shot by Evan. He would have liked it maybe a little bit higher above the tee line, but that rock completely
It is
negates anything
horrendously
to do with that back yellow as a second point.
Yeah, if you know your line is perfect, that you're gonna get buried, best spot you could place it would be top button, but once you know it's not going to get there, it looked like it was tracking a little bit straight. They were trying to get the curl. Excellent plan B to make the freeze no way to score 2 now here for Tyler Smith. Just has to follow that red down into the forefoot to score a single point.
I got a 7! Saber's last! 7! Saber's last!
Whoa, guys, whoa!
Nate Shirk and Jordan Carvalho on the brooms.
7!
Seem to think that this one might be a little heavy.
Easy, 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 easy. Easy, no.
15.
And this one will slide by. Tried to get it to curl onto those red stones in the back of the forefoot, but aren't able to. It is a steal of 1 for Team MacDougall. They now take a 3-2 lead here after 3 ends of play. When we come back, we will go into the 4th. Team Smith will return.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
it's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Getting ready to start off the 4th, and a little bit of a momentum shift there, Tori, for Team MacDougall. Didn't really look like a steal scenario there. Sitting shot, back of the forefoot, and Tyler Smith the chance just to follow them down, but maybe had that backing a little bit too much on the brain. Ends up with a little bit more weight than he would have liked. Slips past everything. Steal of 1 for Team MacDougall.
Good.
But important to remember, if you're Team Smith, you're not out of this game. Still a 1-point game. You're down 1 with definitely a playable scenario, but would love to come back here with a deuce.
Oh, absolutely, especially here in an
7!
even.
8!
Theoretically, you would have
Seven.
hammer
Other.
4, and then you would have it again.
5!
6.
7, 6!
That's always something that you're looking to try and get.
Yeah, the even odd ends argument is one that we talk about a lot, and it's always great to keep front of mind. The 4th end, it is important to have to think about, but not necessarily meaning that you have to push the envelope. I found really once you get to the 6th, I think that's the critical point where that's the end you want to have the hammer for. You want to score there, but scoring in 4, does put you on a good path to getting to where you want to be. Just at this level, there's always so many chances for, a steal or maybe a hit roll out that leads to a blank. Something that can always sort of mess up that timing.
Whoa, it's still Nate.
The doors frog going a little bit heavy as the sweepers call it. So
We're back 4. We're back 4.
Just knife.
Knife.
it is not quite grabbing the curl.
15-3. Okay, not horrible.
We'll sit for a shot stone though. Biting the back edge of the forefoot.
Yeah, and you saw almost a full rock of finish there in terms of
You ever
curl.
come this way and just tap this?
From like the top of the 12-foot until it stops. So the finish is there. You just have to be very precise with your weight, and you're only going to get that little bit of a curve right at the end.
Did you come this way?
This way.
Yeah, that does definitely surprise me. That finish. I wasn't expecting that.
And I think this one's a bit quicker.
Definitely the ice. I was chatting with a few of the curlers prior to the game and mentioning that the ice, yes, maybe a touch straighter than they would like to see. Would love to see a little bit more curl than they're getting, but everybody has been giving a lot of commendation to the fact that the ice is extremely consistent. And just because it's maybe a touch straighter than you would like, it is still very demanding of having very good technical mechanics and technical throwing ability. The teams that are rewarded on this ice surface are the ones that are able to throw a good stone, throw it at the broom, control their weight. Just because it is a touch straighter than maybe they would like does not by any means mean that we have a poor ice surface here at the Oshawa Curling Club. It's been very consistent and fantastic all weekend.
Yeah, last night when you weren't
not
here,
a very
Matt,
good setup.
don't know where you were.
Yeah, I'm okay with peeling.
We had a
That
guest
was my
commentator
thought,
from
but
Team MacDonald up
whatever
here
you like.
and
We can wait one more to
asking
peel.
them,
We can try that.
Jordan, about the ice conditions. He said it is a lot straighter than they're used to, but it was very manageable if you were close. He did also point out, having played a game on Sheet 4, that Sheet 4 was probably one of the more pathy sheets in the club, so I think that makes for a little bit more interesting game.
Wow, really?
Seeing what team can read those paths first.
Yeah, and I thank Jordan for filling in last night as I had a personal
We're coming down.
commitment and wasn't able
Coming
to
down
be
really
here,
hard.
but
Right to the back one. Straight.
we'll be here all day to
We're
bring you
top
the
down,
rest
top down.
of the action here on playoff day.
No bounce.
Whoa, 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 whoa. No bounce. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Always nice to get one of the players up here in the
Really
booth
good.
to get their perspective on things. As much as, you know, we sit here all week, I feel like we have a pretty good handle on this sheet of ice. We've been watching it so much. Always great to get the perspective of the people who are actually out there, who know what it feels like underfoot, throwing with the speed, and just hear those little nuances that you can only get from actually being out there
this will wick
playing,
this enough that you spin
on
to
the
here.
surface.
You might not have enough.
You'll end up here. This will go here.
You might not have enough of this.
You don't think so?
Tyler! Tyler!
You peel then?
I don't see.
I don't mind that.
I don't see much.
Actually, I don't mind the peel. What do they do? Like, that's tough.
Tyler!
Actually, they probably try thin.
I don't know if you can even see. I don't see much.
But if they play that, then we'll have the double back and we're back to the blank.
I think it's quarter.
Okay. Peel.
Okay.
I don't think the peel is the wrong call at all. You could be a bit more aggressive, try to get as much of that yellow top 12 as you could see to move that red stone top of the 8 foot. Definitely wouldn't be anything wrong with that, but if you peel, no easy immediate double for Team MacDougall to remove both yellow stones, so.
Yeah. And like opens up the end. You're gonna maybe see Team MacDougall replace it if they're feeling a little aggressive, or they might hit their own at the top of the 8 foot to get rid of that yellow. But looks like they're calling for that guard.
Yeah, and if Team MacDougall ever does decide to play in the rings, if they find a way to get rid of both yellows, they probably lose one of their own. You're on the way to a blank, which you'd be fine with if you're Team Smith.
Yeah.
If they, as you said, just choose to hit the red one top of the 8, but then they're only removing one Yellowstone. Maybe you could maneuver a 2 out of that.
So looking for this guard to be just over the center line. If you're gonna put it in a good spot, I think you want to show a piece of that red on the top of the 8 frozen to that yellow. Now this rock does look like it's over curling.
Yeah, I might have mentioned that it could have grabbed something halfway down.
Yeah, pick.
That's
Yeah, I can hear them saying the
Like
word
sweep
pick.
it.
So
Not right now, not right now,
definitely
not right now.
something that
This-
could have happened.
Wait until
The ice has been fairly good in
With
terms
what
of the
weight?
green most of the weekend, but I would say about
You come this
probably
way,
one rock a game I think we've seen.
12-5.
Not necessarily an outright pick. There's been some bad ones for sure, but you know, grabs maybe a
This
small
probably won't go
spot,
with
gets a
hack.
little bit of extra curl, sort of
11.
like that one. I think it's just really important that if you think
Wanna
you're
catch this
close
right
out of
here.
your hand, or you think the thrower is close, I should say, keep those brooms down. Make sure that it really reduce the risk of it grabbing anything like that last one did.
You got this, Jordan. Clean release.
Jordan Carvalho from Toronto, Ontario, studying engineering at Western University. I was talking to him before the game. He wanted me to give a shout out to the OCC Academy program, which he was formerly a member of. We do we did have two OCC Academy teams here at this event. One of them on the, I believe the women's side has qualified for the playoffs. on the U18 side, so we'll get a good look at them during the semifinals this afternoon. But he mentioned that program.
I got good weight. I thought a little bit of a pop. My brother
OCC
gave you too much
coaches
ice.
in previous years, as he feels has been a great benefit to him in his career.
Where you guard?
Are we still one? No. Yeah, we are.
Are we?
Took a good chance at a precise shot there on that last one. Just pushes it
I like
by.
going up, yeah.
He's going to make a play out.
Okay. You got
Team MacDougall throwing the guard here.
Yeah.
They do have an opportunity to get rid of both those yellows right now, but she's going to be a little patient with it as they are sitting shot stone at the back of the forefoot.
Nice. Looks good.
Evan. 2. Easy. Doesn't need it for weight. 2.
Toy's curling.
Yeah, you can go now. Yeah, he's going then. Hard. Yeah, hard.
Distance, Evan, distance. There you go.
Hey, come on.
All right, guys, get it over. Get it over, hard.
Evan Medora and Nathan Kim
Hard.
working hard to
Touch
drag
the center
this
line,
one.
boys, hard.
Want to touch the side of the center line.
Good sweep, Evan.
That's pretty good.
Great.
Oh, you
Nice shot,
overdid it.
Evan.
Hell yeah.
Great sweep. Great sweep.
Great. Nice shot.
Yeah, good. Is it okay if I keep on throwing like that?
Yep.
Some point we'll probably see
Dylan, that
Team
was
Smith
that was like an 8.
switch gears
That's
and
fine.
draw
All right.
around.
I think that's what
Don't
we're
do it
seeing
on hits,
now,
though.
Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the risk with throwing that guard.
Yeah, I really thought we might see Team Smith at least attempt maybe 1 or 2 more peels before this. If you ever don't make this draw, you leave Team Smith a few opportunities to get in there, make a freeze, try to set up a steal. As much as you'd love to be the first one in there, you want to make sure you have space to
Sweepers?
generate a 2.
The sweeper's really liking the weight on this. They were cleaning most of the way down. Looks like it might just touch that back red.
Yeah, don't have to move that red much to be shot. They might have pushed it to now sit
into the
shot
pocket is
stone
not
at the
bad at all.
top of the 4. Definitely measurable now, but not the result that they wanted. Leaves a pocket there between the yellow and red stones. And a free chance now for Dylan Stockton to play this draw.
Pretty close.
Line's good.
Close. The foot.
Close.
Right.
Evan.
Whoa, don't want it right now. 7.
Sliding.
T, back 4.
Are we in the pocket?
T, no. It's like back 4.
Yeah, always Evan. Looks a little hot, guys.
No. Wait,
No way,
wait,
that's
wait.
heavy.
Always Evan.
Back 4.
No way.
You can hear Dylan Stockton not
Distance,
believing
distance, right in
that
the
this
pocket,
rock
right
is
in the pocket,
heavy
right back.
and gonna make it to the back of the 4 foot.
That's fine. Good shot.
That speaks to just how
I was
quick
really
that ice
praying
is,
that would
Matt.
sit down.
Yeah, and again, as mentioned before, just that one, the second rock down that path,
That felt like
ends
a
up
3.
being a couple feet faster. Heard the comment there by Dylan saying felt like he thought he threw a tight guard there.
Hair down.
Always Nate's rock.
Lewis.
Nate's rock.
7.
Where?
7, 6.
And I'm looking
Six is
over
where?
at sheet 8,
7.
and seems
Seven,
like we
six,
do
six.
have our first set of handshakes here on this Monday morning.
Hard.
It was Team Vivier out to a 7-0 lead after 3 ends. Not sure exactly what happened in the 4th. Looks like the score.
A steal of 1.
Good shot.
So a steal of 1 by Team Vivier puts them out to an 8-0 lead over Caitlin Langford after 4 ends, and Team Langford deciding that that's enough here on this Monday morning, concedes the game. Team Vivier, the number 2 seed on the U21 women's side, the first team to move on to the semifinals.
All right. Yep.
The pick.
Yep, take it.
It's a nice draw there made by Thomas. Sitting
you got
just the top edge of
Just
the
control, guys.
Yeah.
side of the button.
How much you want to hit?
Full top 4.
Okay. Half for anything
Yeah,
thinner?
excellent draw. Would have loved to get a little bit
Alrighty.
more curl out of it so
Sounds
that this
good.
pick isn't quite as easy.
Yeah, you got this.
Should be plenty of space. Not sure if Evan can see quite enough to actually jam it on that back redstone.
Yeah, with the ice he's taking, it's making me think that he might be playing a little bit of a softer weight here for this pick attempt. Yeah, it looks more like a control, but
Really hard, Nate. Get here.
Nathan Kim working hard to make it curl for a piece.
Beauty sweep, Nate.
Yeah,
Really good sweep.
that is just a very smart decision there by Evan MacDougall to, as you say, bring the weight down a little bit on that attempt. You can see Nathan Kim working to make that just curl up to catch enough of that Yellowstone. I think if you choose to whip one down, throw peel there, and you are that little bit full like we saw, that would have had no chance to come back and touch that stone. So bringing the weight down really gives you a lot more control over what's happening.
Top button here, guys.
I think we can get a 450 there.
So now Tyler Smith will get his chance to play this draw. Gotten a couple good looks at it, so should be close here.
Where? Are you right here? 6, 7! 7!
Not much extension.
6!
Straight. Straight.
7!
Line's fine.
Wait, line's good.
Now we're starting to see
Just
some
there.
curl. This one looks close.
Curl.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
Really, really
We're all
good.
there.
So they can get the curl to sit on top of that red.
We're all there.
It looks like it's just going to hang a little bit wide and spin off, still leaving red shot stone.
Yeah, I think had the line he was looking
what'd you
for
get on the
just
short?
2
Like, I
feet
don't-
heavy.
What'd you get on that one? I
thought
thought I
If
threw
you're
that
a
one
team
perfect.
MacDougall here, you just try to sink one
thought you were
top
there.
of the 4 foot.
Yeah.
I thought you
I
had.
don't really know how you score if you're Team Smith.
Yeah, even just bite the 4 foot and sit. You don't even need to sit two, to be totally honest. I think
No.
anything
Anything
from
in that line.
There's someone
Yeah.
backing on that red. There's no way
You
that
see
he
them
could-
talking about just the guard, not
No, I don't
going
think so
for
either.
the
So if we
aggressive
put
play to
anything in
sit
their
two.
way,
I think ideally you want to be right in this area here, just biting the top of the 4 foot, but anything above that
I'm okay with
is
either.
going to block off the
yeah,
draw
it's impossible to give up
for
2 here.
What do you like?
Tyler Smith afterwards. So ideally just bite 4, sit 2 right around the A, the second, third A, I should say, in Canadian there within the rings. But
No, not really.
tolerance is light. Give it to your sweepers. See how far they can get it.
Is in line with the 4 foot okay? Like anywhere here, right?
It's better to be a little wider because if we're in line with the 4 foot, he still has the same shot. It doesn't. It just puts a rock in his vision. It won't actually block
Okay.
anything.
Yeah, be a wider then.
So all he needs is like 3/4 4 foot.
Yeah, makes sense.
Rather leave him a hole too, right?
Yeah, of
I
course.
think that's
You got both of
a little bit
Yeah,
more
you
of
got
the
it.
difference right now, hearing Team
Still
MacDougall
super
talk, Matt. They're just talking that little bit more about rock placement and about times and where exactly they want to put their rocks. Those
2.
tolerances being
2.
discussed a little more too.
2, 1.
So looking to throw just the guard.
Line's fine.
1, just over.
Line's good.
Just over.
Leave it.
On its own. On its own. On its own. No, whoa. That's it.
The draw might still be there, but looking visually a little more difficult now.
That curl
Yeah,
one,
for sure. I think that guard probably stopping a little bit higher than they would have liked it to if they're on that line, but just a few feet further onto the WFG logo, then the draw is a lot tougher. But as you said, you know, you still got to play it close to that guard to be shot, be that much more precise. I think you're fairly happy with that result if you're Evan MacDougall.
I think it'll be a hair slower out here.
Right on T-line here, guys.
Tyler Smith throwing against 1 right now.
Now, will it be the same speed out a little wider? You think so?
Full 4.
I think it'll be pretty close. 3 feet less, maybe.
We talked at the top of the broadcast, you don't want to let these games get out of hand early, and you don't want to fall down 2 here after 4. Final shot for Tyler Smith.
It's all you guys.
sweepers thinking they have to go for weight, but
Get
line
it there,
looks
guys,
okay.
hard.
Once by the guard. I'd like to see them probably switch for curl.
Line's looking very good if they can get it there.
Hard all the way, hard.
It's a big sweep now by Thomas Del Conte. Gets a good piece of the forefoot by it.
I don't know if that's enough.
Don't even bother. 17.
I think they're going to take a look at it. Evan MacDougall comes out.
Is it actually a measure? I think it's not close. Do you want to measure it?
Here, Dylan Stockton there saying don't waste time.
Yeah, just don't waste time, just measure.
This game running a little bit slower than some of our other games out on the ice.
All right, Thomas, I trust you.
Yeah, and we have seen in the round robin, there was a 2-hour, 5-minute time clock on the games. You had to finish your 7th, and by that time, I don't believe that rule is in place here for the playoffs, but I'm sure the officials will still continue to come out and, you know, keep an eye on it, try to keep the pace of play up.
Really good sweep, guys.
And they move the Yellowstone in, so
Really?
perhaps a great sweep there by Nate Shirk, Jordan Carvalho, and bit of finish there, hog line in by Thomas Del Conte. They do get enough of the forefoot for a single point, and we have a tie game here after 4 ends. It's been exciting, but we'll take a quick break when we come back for the second.
Peace of mind, the life you want, and financial independence. At World Financial Group, we believe your path to any of these goals is paved by financial knowledge. That's why our agents spend every day empowering individuals and families of all backgrounds with the knowledge to create the life they want. No matter your financial goals, WFG can help you own your future. Visit worldfinancialgroup.com to learn more.
Picking up here at the start of the 5th, and you know, we'll do a quick roundup here. The first 4 ends here for both teams. Before we do that though, Tori, talked a little bit in the break there about the decision by Evan MacDougall to throw up the guard there on his last in that end, when maybe he had the opportunity to put a little bit more pressure on Team Smith.
Yeah, it wasn't a shot call I necessarily agreed with. I think I would have played that draw to sit top 4 all day. You make that, and he doesn't really have a shot to score, and you're likely getting a steal of at least 1. Instead, playing that guard, still left that draw available. And before Evan went to throw that last one, you could hear him say, I don't want it to be wide, and give him something to come off of, or something like that. But I think that was still the shot call, was drawing top 4, and then your tolerance then is to be light and sit top 12 or top 8. Anywhere in the rings would have been better than maybe a high 2.
Yeah, I agree. You always have to be cognizant of what you might leave for the opponent if you're not perfect, or if you're not exactly where you call a stone. But at some point, you do have to recognize that there is an opportunity in front of you to really pile on the pressure, and you sometimes just have to go for it. I would have loved to see them try to draw to the top of the forefoot. I think it's one of those shots where, you know, you throw it a bit light on purpose. You try to see if your sweepers can get it there just to bite the forefoot to sit to. If you happen to come up a little light, top 12, top 8, then it does the job. But deciding to throw that guard instead just left enough space, and Tyler Smith was successful to make the draw for 1. But now let's talk about the first half of the game for both teams. If you're Team MacDougall, you're very happy. The score might be the same as what we started. Well, not the same, but it's tied, just like we started with. But you've now flipped the hammer, so you now have control of the hammer in a tie game. And if you're Team Smith, well, Team MacDougall has hammer in 5, so you should have it in 6. Maybe those even ends start to come into play, as we mentioned before. And I think both teams are playing extremely well. but have left a couple opportunities on the table for both of them too. So looking just to sharpen up the play here in the second half, I think is going to be critical. First team to figure that one out is going to be who comes out with the win.
Yeah, definitely right now the momentum seems to be a little bit more with Team MacDougall, making some great shots here in this game so far. But with a tie score, Team Smith, it wouldn't take much to switch that momentum back a little more your way.
Back T.
And so that second freeze attempt by Nature coming up late, staggering those center guards. So now Team MacDougall the free opportunity to split the rings and sit two. Definitely not what Team Smith was hoping for.
Beauty, Evan, nice. Really good.
Evan Medor making two nice shots here, putting that one in a really nice spot just behind the T-line in the wing. First one coming up a little bit light, sitting top 12, but still not in a bad spot.
Yeah. Deciding to play this draw early. Definitely agree that the decision is to play the draw at some point. Thought we might see them maybe just, hit a couple stones over on the wings first. Not necessarily to make the roll behind cover, but just to take a few more rocks away from your opponent. That way when you make the draw later, if they are able to make the double peel, just fewer opportunities for them to maybe get out of trouble or start digging their way back to that shot stone. But either way, if this is made well, a great opportunity for Team Smith.
Very aggressive play.
All the way, guys. Yep.
I'm liking it. Makes this a lot more interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely what we're always hoping to see up here in the broadcast booth. Maybe not necessarily the players or some of the fans back home, but that one not quite getting buried, but does well to sit half underneath.
We love them.
Yeah, I like this.
I like this.
Whatever you like.
No, I like this.
Yeah, and by choosing to play that draw this early in the end, again, you don't quite make it. Now you leave the opportunity for Nathan Kim to dig it out, sit three, and then you have to start making decisions, right? Are you going to put the game on the line here in 5 and continue to play that draw until you make it and let the other team continue to build? Or do you try and start to bail? This one curling, though.
Yeah, you'd think that rock would be a little more open for Nathan Kim, being a left-handed curler. So he will make the hit. Great sweep by Dylan, but a little bit of a mishap there. Dylan saying he touched the guard as he was sweeping, but not the guard that the rock would have wrecked on.
Yeah, so they'll just replace it back to where they thought it was, and was definitely a benefit for Nathan that he could see more of that yellow stone, but as it turned out, because of that, ended up hitting more than he wanted to, didn't quite get the roll, so.
Opportunity for Jordan Carvalho to make a nice hit and roll here.
Yeah, and with plenty of space to roll to about, I would say close to 2 feet of margin here that you would get a decent outcome on this roll.
You can see where the broom is on that mat, like on the rock. That's just how straight that path is.
Yeah, almost on the nose.
Especially with throwing this weight. It's just gonna hit it on the nose. So I think we're gonna see Nathan Kim playing a hit and roll here.
Yeah, that last one had a good amount of weight on it. I didn't see exactly what it was they were going for, but just from my perspective, looking at the shot as it was being made, felt like a little bit more weight than maybe was necessary on a shot like that, especially when the ice is getting that little bit straighter. You really want to bring the weight down, give your sweepers the opportunity to do something, because we've seen even with hack, they can make it curl up a little bit. They can hold it very straight. It just gives you better chances to make a shot.
Dylan Stockman working hard on this one again. Looks like they're just nose. So they were trying for the roll away there, but I think that could have been an opportunity to roll under, seeing that was starting to overthrow.
But like,
Nate, just a little over.
Plan B shot.
Good feed. Great feed,
We'd love, yeah, no, absolutely. And I'd love to see Team Smith just bring the weight down a little bit on this one. They got a good look at the line on their last attempt. Try to make it a little bit better this time around.
Looks like Thomas is throwing maybe a little bit less weight than Jordan. But yelling curl right out of the hand, so it makes me think there's a little bit of an outward motion there.
All the way. It's not coming back at all. Don't wait hard, Tyler. You got it. Hard.
But will get the rock out of the house.
I definitely agree with what you were saying before, though, Tori, about, always having those plan Bs in mind, especially at this, U21, U18 level. You're not always going to get, as a skip, the throws that you want to see coming at you. And you need to always be thinking almost every shot, okay, if we're a little bit light, what do I want to do? A little bit heavy, what do I want to do? A little bit wide, a little bit tight, just so they're always in the back of your mind and you can make those decisions early. Because a lot of the time, if you have the chance to play for a plan B, you want to do that almost immediately as soon as the rock is released, or at least within the first half of the shot. Watch that red over on the side.
Will just make the nose double. Still leaves one on the center line, but it's without that stagger. Helps make that forefoot look a little more open.
Yeah, looked like that one actually came up just a hair. I thought he was maybe a touch full of what they wanted, but now, because there's no more stagger on the center line, much more difficult to get a draw in a spot that's not chaseable for Team MacDougall. So now deciding to hit this redstone over on the wings.
Yes. Yes. Clean. Yep. Turn it. Hard.
This one really moving. Gonna have to work hard to get a piece.
Great sweep by Nate. So Evan MacDougall looking to peel his own center guard. I like this call a lot.
I love it. You're sitting shot and you think, well, you split the rings. It's basically a free deuce, but not necessarily. There's always the chance Team Smith ignores your stones, plays a draw around somewhere. I think by getting rid of this center guard, Tyler's never going to try and just draw around that rock in the top of 12 foot. He's going to hit it. You get a blank.
Now you have hammer and 6.
Exactly. You have that 2-to-1 advantage with the hammers. As great as a 2 would be, just not worth really even that small risk of giving up a steal when you can just take the free blank and move to a very good position in the game.
Yeah,
I'd like to roll a few feet to the left there.
No. Yes. Hard.
I just down, eh?
I didn't mind that
here.
Down?
A little, but like.
Sorry?
Just like if I like.
And as promised, we're going to keep you updated on all of the other matchups going on here across the sheets. Over on sheet 1, as mentioned, the number 1 seed, Team Tarek, taking on number 8, Team Pekowitz. Team Tarek from Manitoba, Pekowitz from the United States, and it's a close one. After 5 ends of play, looks like they have just completed the 5th end recently. It was a 2 for Team Tarek, as we see the bug update there. So 4-2 for Team Tarek as they play the 6th. Over on sheet 2, Team Fortin versus Morgs Obervalis. Team Fortin from Quebec holding a 4-0 lead, and I'll remind you, again, we'll get there with the updates, but over on sheet 8, it was Team Vivier with the victory. So they move on to the semifinals, and I believe it will be the winner of this game that they will play in the semifinals. So keeping an eye out there, but Team Fortin currently out to a 4-0 lead in the sixth end. Over on sheet 4, Nichols and Garner have a close matchup going 2-2, playing 5. Jumping over to sheet 5, Team Desura out to a comfortable 6-1 lead over Team Wrigley in their quarterfinal.
Yeah, where's your hand cream
Sheet
at?
6.
Hey, get your hand cream out.
Team Tremblay actually just opening up. They just finished the 5th as these updates were happening. Put a 4 on the board, so they hold an 8-3 lead over the Swiss. Just beginning the 6th end of play. Over on sheet 7, Team MacDougall holding a 7-3 victory, comfortably defending their lead after scoring 4 in the first. And as mentioned, once again, over on sheet 8, it was Team Vivier with a 8-0 win after 4 ends over Caitlin Langford. We'll keep you updated as we go on with all the scores, and once these games start to finish, we'll fill in those brackets, show them to you once again, talk about what we're going to be seeing when the semifinals roll around this afternoon. Semifinals will kick off at 3 p.m. Eastern Time.
450. Good shot.
Sorry?
450.
Good sweep.
So no surprises here in our feature up there as we were doing the updates, Tori. Few hits made back and forth.
Evan MacDougall actually rolling out on his first stone, trying to make a hit and roll before he went down, I think. But I think I liked the rollout a little bit better because of how high that rock was just biting the house. It would have been a little difficult to roll on, always run the risk of nosing it and leaving that guard.
Yeah, definitely the way you want to miss that if you're not going to roll in. This one needs to come up.
Curl.
Will touch the yellow stone. Dylan Stockton working to try and remove it from place, but he won't. So out of nowhere, a steal of 1 for Team Smith here in the 5th. Big momentum shift as we look forward. Just 3 ends remaining, but Team MacDougall will have hammer in the 6th when we come back.
Hey, curling fans, I'm standing here in front of Sheet Stew here at the High Park Club, and I just want to let you know that I'm so excited to sponsor the sport of curling, to help curling out. So you can go to stewcurls.com, see all my events, see the Stew Sell series, but you know what? I also sell real estate as well. So you need to buy a house, list a house, condo, rental, business. Look, give me Stu a call.
Seven.
Whatever you want.
At the start of the 6th end, Nate Shirk taking his time to get ready in the hack here after a bit of a surprise there at the end of the 5th. The end had progressed pretty well towards a blank. All MacDougall had to do was make contact, and he did make contact, but just not enough to remove it from play. And that's, a big miss from the MacDougall side. Not to imply, anything along the lines like the game is over. I mean, it's still very close. It's a 1-point game. If you're Team MacDougall, you're down 1 with. You have hammer in 6, so you start to think, well, you have that 2-1 advantage in terms of hammers remaining, but could have been tied with in 6, just given up a free point for nothing. Not something you're going to be happy with going forward.
No, but I like that Evan kept himself calm, cool, and collected after that shot. He didn't seem to be too rattled about it. So I think that's good heading into this 6th end. Their goal is probably to score a multiple. But making sure they score is very important. So we can see him choosing to draw the top of the 4-foot, Evan Medor with his first.
Wade's good. Line's fine. Not much of that. 5-6. Straight. Whoa, 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 whoa. Nate's rock.
Get us.
First stone here by Evan Medor. Very well done, just to the full top 4 buried. That's what you're looking for out of your lead stones. And you know, leads sometimes get the butt end of the stick a little bit, not really, you know, not a lot of attention necessarily may be paid to the rocks, or definitely not as much attention as deserved, but you know, very important still. If that red rock, you know, slips just behind the tee line or comes up a little bit light, you may not think much about it, but it does steer the end in an entirely different direction by making that first one so good, full top 4. Almost a bit of a guarantee that as you progress in this end, you're going to be in a great situation if you're Team Smith. You're always going to have that one in the 4-foot that or excuse me, for Team MacDougall, always going to have that one in the 4-foot if that Team Smith has to deal with at some point moving forward. Just makes you that much more comfortable to steer the game in the direction you want to go.
Well, Matt, you're preaching to the choir here. As a lead myself, I can tell you, you mentioned the other day that saying leads might not be able to win the game necessarily, but they can lose you the game. So their rock placement is very important.
Evan going to try and match it with his second one here. Would love to make a freeze on top of that red stone, sit 2.
We got it.
To curl this over. Really nice sweep. Nice pair of stones there by Evan Medor.
Trees on top.
You play that.
Or
you can also just go here for now.
Yeah. It's up to you.
And then you play that later. I like this first.
I think we gotta run. I like going this way.
It's either run or straight peel.
Now, if Team Smith ever peels that center guard
Probably a straight peel then.
With the hammer, I think we'll see them throw a center guard.
I mean, you might. Those reds are so good. I mean, you don't like playing to the center with the hammer, but it being so early in the end, to just draw one out to the wings, I think is a big concession when you have such a good setup. Not necessarily saying if you guard it, you're going to get 3, but I think by drawing to the wings this early in the end, you're conceding that opportunity at the very least. So I think we will.
I agree.
Close to a run back, though.
We'll just get one of them.
Yeah, so I don't think that was the call. Maybe got a little bit tight or a little bit light on the weight, but definitely a great line call to get a good result out of it. Now Team MacDougall will have to play the draw one more time.
Supers need to keep an eye up on this path. But they're liking the weight.
Top 8, top 4. We're on the nose.
Seen this spot, difficult to get that last minute finish. They seem to like the line though.
Yeah, need to make sure not to cross the face here.
Really good.
Will
really good.
A little bit, but with that angle, if you're Team Smith, you gotta be careful with where you hit this because it could drag onto that back yellow at the back 8.
Yeah, some excellent touch there by Nathan Kim.
Really good.
Really, there were 2 schools of thought there on that shot. Either you keep try to keep that red stone frozen on the nose of that red so that you keep that jam in play at the back of the rings, or you ignore that and just try to make sure you get buried. Either one is has its pros and cons. I think that's a great spot there that Nathan's rock ended up. And it looks like we're going to get a timeout here by Team Smith, so the teams will make their way down to the home end as Byron Scott will come out and have a discussion with them. Of course, Byron, actually both of these coaches that I look at it, Byron Scott and Jerry Sunwell Staples, on the Ontario circuit for a long, long time. Plenty of experience, so we'll tune in to see what Byron has to say, what his advice is, and what the team decides to do. I think, though, Tori, just while they're making their way out, I think you got to do something with those reds. It's just such a great setup. I don't think there's enough room to necessarily,
No, just straight, just miss.
kill either one of them. But if,
looking at playing like a bump.
yeah, something that's just a little bit heavyweight, maybe sort of in the back 8 range of things, come down onto this red one. You'd love to maybe tap this sort of back into this sort of area, move this one over here, and then you start to see the possibility of building a wall. We'll listen to Byron.
Far enough to be past the yellow. I think the challenge you have is anything above that, any set, it's gone, right? It's a wasted shot. So if you're going to throw it, you got to throw it tight and you get the guard, right? The other thing you can do is come down and just
sit on
throw 11 at it.
Throw 11. Probably catch 2/3.
Right? The important thing is to spread the cluster out, right? Get some other angles.
You'll have a pocket to draw into.
Yeah. You get one of those back 4, right? You get a pocket.
11, trying to get some.
Whose throw is this? Jordan second?
I like 11.
Yeah, and your release is softer,
Looks like
favors
maybe
the softer weight,
you
right?
should definitely be able to see a piece, maybe a quarter rock.
Looking more like a third, I
Give
think.
yourself options here to get your force. Yeah, get your force, right? You don't want to give up a big end. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
No more than
You got this. Okay.
you might. You didn't get
Byron being a
Like, 'cause
previous
this is
coach
pretty
for
much where I threw
myself,
my
you know,
11,
he
right?
always
It curved quite a bit at the end.
has some wise words to say.
Yeah, and from what I've seen from him over the years and what I really like about his style, always has that very calm demeanor about him. Always comes out, has 2 or 3 options on his mind that he presents to the team, listens to their feedback, what they seem to like, and never really seems to, get caught up in the moment or the stress of the game. Always is just such a almost like a stalwart figure to the team to keep things calm in a moment that of critical importance such as this. So it looks like they are going to play maybe a little bit more weight than we were expecting, Tori. Try to remove one of these red stones. Maybe, do you think you can see enough to get both if you play it close to the guard?
I think so.
11.
I think there's enough air, but maybe not with this weight. This weight looking to be a little softer than I was expecting.
Straight, hard.
This one looking close to the guard, working. They will get it by. Now trying to get as much as they can. Get 1, get 2. That second red stone, though, drags back onto that rock in the back of the 8-foot.
Still, I think it looks slightly better than it did.
Absolutely. I mean, it was such a great setup for Team MacDougall.
You had to do something.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was a way for that red not to jam on that back yellow.
Well, I don't think necessarily entirely satisfied with the outcome. I think with the fact that that red, I guess, was always going to jam on that back one, would have loved with that weight to remove one of the red stones at least. If you weren't going to do that, if you weren't going to remove one of the red stones and move them around like this, I would have liked to see them play a little less weight, like we were saying, and just maybe try and keep that back red stone back 4-foot, back button, something that you can use moving forward. But still, this situation, miles better than it was before, but still plenty of work to do.
And we saw Evan MacDougall motioning many different options, but deciding to hit this one on the side.
You got this here.
Which I don't mind the call. Sit 3. I'll spread out. No super easy double.
Yeah, nose hit there would probably leave maybe a quarter rock double, but with a couple jam possibilities, certainly wouldn't be easy.
Dylan Stockton really working to try and get a piece of this yellow, but it looks like they'll hit a good chunk. Will roll out though, so a little bit of a missed opportunity there by Nathan Kim. I think that wide path is just really catching some teams off guard.
Oh, for sure. And it's difficult to imagine what it must be like throwing out there, because you almost have to have 2 or 3 different throws in your arsenal depending on where you are delivering your rock on the sheet. If you're out that little bit wider, you need to have that little bit of a softer release, let it come cleanly out of the hand, where that's something you might not be able to do if you're throwing somewhere closer to the center.
This one gonna roll too far. So Team MacDougall still sitting 1 at the back 8.
Yeah, a little bit surprised. They didn't really seem panicked on the
like
line
this
call
one.
for the most part there, and it didn't really look like it jumped, so.
Must have. Because they just started yelling really hard at the end.
Yeah, and can hear Tyler or someone on the team saying that they thought Thomas threw a good stone. They were happy with it.
Yeah, a little down. I got down.
The chance here now for Dylan Stockton would want to get this full top 4 buried.
How light?
Sweeper's working really hard on this one to get it by that guard.
Big sweep by Nathan Kim. Does touch the yellow, but may still have enough steam.
Yeah, they got to go to second shot.
That's not bad, Dylan.
Looks like they got it.
Yeah, that's a fantastic sweep there by Nathan and
I
Evan.
wasn't in, right?
And not in a bad spot.
I
Because
didn't
if
feel
you're
it.
Team Smith, then try to play a hint roll off that, you won't count that rock back 8.
I think you have to still, though.
Well, yes, you're right, but the hit and roll might still be the call. I think
I think it is.
there's really 3 options. I think either you play the straight draw, but there would now be a short run back on that redstone, so I'm not a fan of that. Could play the double, try to double the reds out, but that's pretty precise to try and remain to sit 2 after this. So I think play the hit and roll.
I think I would be partial to throw the freeze, especially with it being 6 then.
We'll keep an eye out here. You don't want to stuff both.
We'll go through that hole at the back.
How does that one fit?
Sorry?
That one.
Do you like same weight?
I like same.
Okay.
Dylan Stockton
I'll just
trying
release
again,
it.
but maybe without that rub on the guard.
I was just a
Yeah, can basically throw the exact same shot. I mean, the weight was good. Just rubbed that guard, but would have moved the guard a little bit. So same weight, same ice, should be a very good result.
Now there are handshakes on sheet 6. Looking like Team Tremblay coming out with a victory over the Swiss men.
Yeah, I was sort of keeping my eye on how that 6 then was progressing after Team Tremblay scored 4 in the 5th to take an 8-3 lead. Looking at that end shaping up, there were just yellow rocks all over the place. Team Switzerland was throwing everything that they could at Team Tremblay, but they just weren't able to get rocks in the right spot. Team Tremblay loaded up the rings. Not really sure what they scored there in that end. They put the score up as a steal of 7 in the 6th. I wasn't keeping an eye out to see if that was actually the case or not, but whatever it was, it definitely was a steal, and the Swiss decide that that's enough. Shake hands. So Team Tremblay, the first men's team on the U21 side to progress forward to the semifinals.
That's another option. You're here. He's blasting. Might take out his red. Might roll out, then we hit that. And
I'm fine with this, and if you end up lighting it up here, it's not terrible.
now, where do you like ice though?
I think there's a pin, then it's go like this. Pin.
Now,
Same shot.
what if you get to nose, it's perfect.
If you end up over, yeah.
So a lot of discussion here happening for Tyler Smith's first rock here.
Like I think
No
this is better, but
easy
this
hit
is probably
available.
a little bit easier. No?
So they're talking about just freezing to that rock back 8, which I think is what I would be more partial to. Just knowing that you're going to out-count at least one of those reds and put it in a difficult spot to remove.
No, I like it. And then he might jam moving out. So, throw like...
They'll face the winner of Team Rowe and Team MacDonald in the semifinals. And that matchup, currently Team MacDonald holding a 7-3 lead in well, they haven't put up the score of the 6th. They are playing the 7th, but Team MacDonald with a comfortable advantage so far in that one.
Thomas, less ice. That's good. We're better to over curl, eh? Thomas, we're better to over curl than under curl. I think less still. Yeah, there.
So I think choosing to play the freeze, I got a little distracted there looking over at some of the other sheets.
I'd imagine that's the call. I mean, you do have two options. You can play the freeze onto the back 8 foot. If it starts to curl up a little bit, you're a little bit light, then you could switch to plan B, which would be to draw to the top of the button buried.
6, 5.
Only issue with that is that red biting or half in that top 8, it is very promotable. So if you're sitting at top of the 4 foot, Evan MacDougall only has to hit what he can see and your rock is going.
Hard all the way, hard!
This rock looking a little bit light.
Great sweep, but just not quite enough to get there. Does act as maybe another guard they can use, but I think if Evan MacDougall has his way, he's not going to leave the opportunity to get around there for very long. Just while that last shot was happening, we do have handshakes over on sheet 5, just right beside us, as Team Desura comes up with a steal of 1 in the 6th end, make it a 10-1 victory over Team Wrigley in their quarterfinal matchup. So the Team Desura will move on to the semifinals here this afternoon. They will play the winner of the Tarek Pekowitz game over on sheet 1.
I want to be in the 4 foot. So we think his next shot's probably the out-turn draw, so we want to be able to out-count it. I don't even care if we're wide open here as long as we're edge on edge.
It's coming down like 3 feet.
This path, I don't think so. That was 16-7.
Right.
Okay. You know it then.
You got it, buddy.
I think it's there.
Evan
7.
MacDougall with his first.
6. 6. 7. 7.
This rock hanging a little wide and looks like it's got a lot of weight to it, so needs to sit down. Don't want this to go deep.
It'll definitely be a bit behind the tee line. Both teams working to get it as far as possible, but a little bit of a pocket there now for Team Smith, and an escape is certainly possible. I don't know here, Tori. You'd love to, in an ideal world, I mean, you'd love to really try to put the pressure on, maybe draw to the button or the back of the button. Can't draw to the top 4 foot because that red stone, this red stone right here in the top of the 12 foot is accessible for Team MacDougall, so they would be able to run that back. So you'd want, if you're going to play the draw, you'd want it to be behind tee line just so that's not a possibility. And I think it's just worth it to come right back into that pocket.
Too. You know that stone's not really going to go anywhere. You're sitting one. It's a great opportunity to force.
Looks like Tyler's looking at making the double, which would just be conceding the 2.
Well, I saw Thomas motioning a hit and roll on top.
Okay. That would certainly work as well. I mean, I'm not really sure if I'm a fan of that, though, too. You have so much wiggle room here with this draw. I know it's been a tricky spot on the sheet, but I think you can really use those reds to help you. You try to play this hit and roll, and if it runs straight, as we've seen, you nose it, suddenly you're giving up 3. I think removing these red stones is just sort of possibly providing a better opportunity for MacDougall to remove your stone afterwards.
Yeah, I guess he saw a little risk, though, with the draw, not making it. You give up a 4, and that...
Yeah, just a little bit of a, possibly a soft release out of the hand. That rock started moving early. He wrecks on the guard, and out of nowhere now, a free draw for 4. piece of the 8-foot will give Evan MacDougall a sizable advantage here with just a few ends to play. Not exactly sure what happened there, Tori. We've seen that spot. Hasn't really taken off, but called the sweepers on it almost immediately. So maybe just that rock not quite coming out as crisp as they would have liked from the release. Maybe got a little easy, turned it over, and just started moving very early. So Evan MacDougall with the final stone here in the 6th. An opportunity looming.
5-6. Wait only. 5-6. Wait's nice. They can't hurt it.
Sweepers seem to like it as they'll just clean it in. It'll be good. They'll watch it right down to the 4-foot for 4 points.
That's a big momentum shift coming into the last 2 ends of this game there, Matt.
Absolutely. So as always, we're going to take a quick break, but Team MacDougall now holding a 7-4 lead with just 2 ends.
Peace of mind, the life you want, and financial independence. At World Financial Group, we believe your path to any of these goals is paved by financial knowledge. That's why our agents spend every day empowering individuals and families of all backgrounds with the knowledge to create the life they want. No matter your financial goals, WFG can help you own your future. Visit worldfinancialgroup.com to learn more.
Being up by 4.
And picking up play once here at the start of the 7th, and when you think about these playoff matchups, Tori, especially you want to keep it close, and it usually comes down to, you know, that one end or that one moment that can swing the game one way or the other. I think we may have just seen it there in that 6th, that one shot just getting away from Tyler. We talked about maybe we weren't sure. I wasn't necessarily a fan of the hit. You didn't maybe didn't hate it as much, but either way, whatever shot you choose has to be made in that scenario. Just a small miscue there and big opportunity capitalized on for Team MacDougall.
Yeah, you're going to be seeing Team Smith going a little harder here for some points, which that in itself puts a big risk, because normally these are the ends where you do go a little bit harder and they could result in a steal. So the rock management here in this end is going to be huge, needing to score at least a 2.
Yeah, and a reminder again, we are into the playoffs now, so extra ends are played out in full. There are no more draws to the button for the hammer if you're tied. So what's the path to a victory here now? You're trying to figure out if you're Team Smith. I think there are a couple ways you could do it. There aren't many, but I think almost all of those paths start with getting a 2 here. Or well, you'd love to do more, but reasonably speaking, most of those paths here start with a multiple score here in 7.
Just one. Yeah, I'm just doing one.
Door making a nice come around. The one on his first.
It's back
Slipping
forward.
a little bit deep to the back of the 4-foot.
It's back forward, bro. He needed it.
Is it back, dude?
Great shot.
Where is it?
Back for it. Back button. It was on the center line. Oh, it's coming.
That's good.
How about the same?
Sweep. 1.
I think this rock is faster.
2, 3.
Interesting note about both these teams, Tori, both have qualified for the provincial championships.
That's always comforting to know at this point in the year.
Yep. So likely probably see a rematch between these two at the provincial championships, maybe even in the playoffs.
That's being held in Kingston.
I believe so, yep. U18 provincials coming up in just over a week in Mount Forest. U21s, I believe, have a little bit of time still before their provincials.
Yeah, Ontario normally runs their junior provs the last weekend that they can.
Yeah. I remember experiencing that scramble a couple times, getting prepared for the Canadians.
Yeah, I think when I won it in 2023, we had 2 weeks before leaving for nationals. Barely got our jackets in time. Great tap by Nathan Kim.
Yeah, some fantastic touch there.
I think they hit and roll.
Looks like that Redstone may be out of the rings too as a guard, so it's difficult for Team Smith to hit and roll in.
Spin on, but you might.
But for both teams, pretty happy with the setup so far. The important part of this shot is not, you'd love to move stuff around in the rings, but most important part is to keep the shooter. You cannot afford to hit and roll out and allow Team Smith to walk up and start peeling those corner guards for free.
No, so Jordan Carvalho with important hit and stick here, or hit and roll.
Even if you nose it, move some things around in the rings, keep some guards in play.
Yeah, nosing it gets at least one of those rocks off the forefoot.
This one looking close to that.
Roll it, roll it, roll it.
Hard roll.
Get one touch too, and that's an excellent result there for Jordan.
We'll get it out of the rings.
Definitely not exactly what you would hope for because it is a center guard. Would love to avoid that with the hammer, but the only redstone in play is now behind the tee line. You have some corners up that you may be able to use in a little bit. You can always choose to draw around that center, play the freeze on the shot stone.
We're seeing Nathan Kim being called to peel these corner guards, though.
Love to get two yellows moving. Gets one. Touches all three.
All of them. That is an end-changing shot right there by Nathan Kim.
Yeah, and that does keep one of those yellow rocks away, so there is a corner guard that Team Smith is able to use. But this end now looking so much better for Team MacDougall. That is an excellent pair of rocks by Nathan Kim.
What was it called? Draw?
Yeah.
Wide.
I got the lap. 7, 8, 8.
Where?
8.
Jordan being asked to draw around that
8, 9.
corner guard, that wider corner guard, because Nathan did tick it over, but this rock is just running.
Oh, you can't touch it.
Not even close to getting buried.
Yeah, and the weight is, I mean, a little bit heavy, but it's not like he threw it through, so not sure if that was on the throw or maybe the ice. I mean, it's always a bit of a guess when you're trying to draw around a corner that far out, especially with that little bit straighter ice that we've been seeing today, but need to tighten that up here. Dylan Stockton now looking to remove this Yellowstone from play, and I don't think has
Sorry about that.
any
That seemed really straight.
want to keep the shooter around, I guess.
No, Evan MacDougall called for the rollout on that, which I think is a very smart call, not wanting to leave any backing or any jam possibilities.
Yeah, anything you're leaving back there is just something
15-5 here.
Team Smith can use.
Cool slow.
Where?
6, 7.
Line
Good
good.
shot, I'm heavy.
6,
Sweep for
Line
weight.
good.
6,
Straight.
6, 7.
Girl.
7.
Girl.
Girl. Bury it.
Girl.
We're just checking over, and we see sheet 1 is now empty, Matt.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly on the colors there. I believe Team Tarek was yellow, so I think it's a victory for them, but we're just taking a moment to double check that. We're going to get a score update on all the sheets coming here, as well as what that means for the playoffs coming forward. Okay, so as we look over, we have got confirmation as we turn to sheet 1. And it was a 5-2 victory for Team Tarek at the moment. It was Team Tarek in the lead. Looks like they shook after 6 or 7, but either way, it is a victory for Team Tarek, so they will move on to the semifinals for the U21 women's side. And if I remember the matchups correctly, will move on to face Team Dazura in the semis. Over on sheet 2, it is Team Fortin and Morg Zobervalis in a tight one. Team Fortin holding a 4-3 lead in the 7th end of play. Sheet 3, Nichols and Garner, again, we've had an eye out here all game. It's been a close matchup. It was 4-2, and one of the teams did crack a 3, so it was Team Nichols cracking a 3 in the 6th end to take the lead up 5-4. Of course, our feature matchup, we've been keeping track of it, is Team MacDougall with a 7-4 lead over Team Smith. Once again, as meant, 2 results we've already mentioned. On sheet 5, Team Dazura with the victory over Wrigley. And on sheet 6, it was Tremblay with a 15-3 win over Team Switzerland. Only game remaining in play over on that right-hand side of the club is Team Rowan McDonald as they play the 8th. Team McDonald up 1 with the hammer in the 8th.
Playing a fairly open end too. Saw Elias Humaniki make a triple peel, so
no guards in play over there, so going to be a difficult steal attempt for Rowe. And finally over on sheet 8, it was Team Vivier with the 8-0 victory over Team Langford, as mentioned. So we do have one semifinal matchup now set on the U21 women's side. The number 1 seed, Team Tarek, will take on the Team Dazura. And here is the updated playoff bracket. So as mentioned, Team Tarek will face off against Team Dazura, and Team Vivier awaits the winner of Fortin and Morg Zobervalis.
How much do we need? 3/4? Got the back one? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's almost all of it. Okay.
So Team Smith having a missed opportunity there, choosing to play the draw around that guard, which I really liked given the score, but coming up light and being frozen right on that corner.
Is it
Or right on that guard, on the corner.
They don't care about that one on the right. They're drawing behind the stack.
Are you a little bit surprised by this shot? I mean, the only other option is you could walk out to the wings, hit that yellow stone with a 3-point advantage. Of course, if Team Smith ever does make the draw around this stagger, they might be able to generate a 2 that way, but it would only ever be a 2 at most.
Yeah, or you could even consider making that draw first yourself. You put it top 4 half buried, and you got that stagger to make it extremely difficult to move your rocks, but Evan MacDougall not wanting to give up more than 2, so choosing to play that peel. One rock almost getting that back yellow, which was, I think they were looking at being within the angles based off where they hit it. But playing the peel just ensures that you're not giving up more than 2. You're coming home in the 8th end with hammer, being up 1.
And worst case scenario, if you just have to hit an open shot here, then you do that, and you're probably able to force the other team to 2 at the most anyways.
Yeah, and you're probably playing a hit and roll off this one here that Tyler's throwing. I think in this situation, given the score, I wouldn't hate to see Tyler try and play a freeze.
Yeah, I did think about it. You see that yellow over on the side of the sheet. with that redstone behind it that might be able to act as a catcher. So I did think about possibly the freeze if you're very confident in the spot.
Keep going hard.
Sweeper's really needing to work on this one. It's over curling.
Looks like those stones are going to be grouped by Tyler Smith. Will stay, but Team MacDougall will have a double opportunity there.
Well, it spins to a very interesting spot because you can hit that yellow stone that is slightly higher, but it will redirect right back into that red stone just behind the rings. Difficult to see exactly how close that red stone is. Whether the jam, if it jams, the yellow will remain in. Must be close because they're looking at it for a while, so they're thinking about it.
I think I can see Evan throwing a solid hit weight here, so I think it'll spin out. I don't think it'll spin back in the house, especially if you hit it on the outside.
We think that yellow's gonna jam, but can't really do anything about it. Would it be in if it jams? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, we could hear Dylan Stockton asking that question.
It might spin. It might spin.
Yeah, I think you're right, Tori. Just throw it hard, hit it anywhere on the outside half of the yellow, and you just hope that the yellow has enough rotation to jump off of that redstone and spin out. Evan MacDougall in his last here in the 7th. And it does, as you thought, Tori, have more than enough spin, jumps off of that back redstone and is out of the ring. So we will be seeing a blank here coming from Team Smith, and they'll attempt to get a 3 and 8 to tie it up.
Play this next time clean. Make it good. It is. Nice and thick. Only it wasn't transparent.
So final rock here in 7. Will be a throw through, and we will have a blank up on the board. So after 7 ends of play, we will go to the 8th. Team MacDougall holds a 7-4 lead, but Team Smith does have the hammer, and we'll look to tie this one up.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a gold line. It's a gold line. It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Picking up here at the start of the 8th end. Bit of work to do here for Team Smith. Tori needing 3 to tie up the game. I think we're going to see 2 corner guards go up by them. A very similar setup probably to what we saw last end with 3 stones along the center line. If your Team MacDougall, double corners will go up by Team Smith, and then we'll see how the end is able to progress from there.
Might be back.
Well, 3 might be a little difficult right now with the way Team MacDougall's playing. Not impossible, so Team Smith gotta just try and put some pressure on Team MacDougall to make some good ones and hope for a couple misses here.
All right. I mean,
Couple score updates as we look across here. Most games, all games are now in the 8th end. It was Team Fortes scoring a single, against Morgs Obervallis of Switzerland. So they hold a 5-3 lead in the 8th. Team Nichols stealing 2 in the 7th, so they go up 7-4 with 1 end remaining. And as I look over on sheet 7, final rock just coming to a stop there. And it is a victory. It's a blank in the 8th, and Team MacDonald holds on After scoring 4 in the first, they win 7-6.
Yeah, if you took it.
And I believe they will move on to face Team Tremblay of Quebec in the semifinals. So one semifinal matchup is now set on the men's side.
And 2 out-of-province teams, too.
Yeah, Team MacDougall of Manitoba will face Team Tremblay of Quebec. The other half of the men's bracket still to be determined in our 2 games here side by side. But once again, Team Smith and Team Nichols both holding 3-point leads without the hammer in 8.
Nice shot, Evan.
Well, I think it was just light. I don't think that one fits.
Less of an ideal setup so far by Team MacDougall this end as compared to the last one. That first rock slipping to the back 8 foot. That second one not quite where they wanted it. Weight is okay, but want to keep those red stones on the center line.
Well, it's not.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Team MacDougall does with their next one, with the 5-rock rule. Not being able to peel any guards yet, seeing if they put another one in or even maybe hit out their own that's back 8.
Yeah, Sweeper's not touching this one, though.
So
this has to be a guard.
16-3. Sit.
I guess that answers that question on what Team MacDougall's going to do.
Sit.
If this does not put on the brakes, and it won't.
Yeah, and that, I mean, barring some other miss going forward by Team MacDougall, that really sets back the chances of being able to generate a 3 here, Tori.
Yeah, Nathan Kim's just looking to remove this rock, not needing to stick around.
Whoa, clean.
I think we'll see a few more guards go up by Team Smith, knowing that Team MacDougall can now peel on their next.
We might just double our own out.
Yeah, honestly.
Good.
Clean as fuck.
Evan. Ow. Good thing it's Nathan.
It's a bit of a discussion here, Tori,
Yeah.
on what to do now. Missing that corner guard, you have to get a little bit creative, but I think
you have to throw one more.
Yeah, you can throw a corner. I mean, at some, I definitely agree. I like continuing to throw a corner guard here. Your path to maybe trying to find a way to get 3, I think, starts with by playing a draw around that corner guard, something like this, to get it buried. And then later on in the end, you're going to try to follow it up by playing some sort of freeze on that stone back of the 8 foot, or at least try and hide, utilize that rock that's in the top 8 as a guard for yourself. I do think it might be a little early to play into the rings. I do agree with you on that. Play just maybe 1 or 2 more corner guards. Give Team MacDougall fewer chances to win the game by making some kind of double.
Line's good.
Yeah, you can see Team MacDougall having a conversation there on the side of the sheet. All of them just making sure they're on the same game plan here with that to make sure that that doesn't happen. This rock coming up really high. It's a high guard, so perhaps the double peel is going to be attempted here by Nathan. Just a little bit of a unforced error there by Team Smith.
And I mean, those guards are pretty tough to place. You have to be very precise with the weight to not leave a double peel. We saw an excellent double peel made by Nathan Kim last end. We'll see if he can do it again here. Gets 1, gets 2, and spins all the way out. So Nathan Kim putting on a clinic here these last 2 ends for Team MacDougall.
I think we
and
freeze,
that,
right?
I mean, barring anything.
One more.
obscene happening from the MacDougall side moving forward, you'd think that's probably enough to put this game away.
Yeah. This team is just
guard
absolutely
theirs?
dialed.
Team Smith will continue to try. I think you have to try to utilize these red stones somehow. Play. Well, I'm just looking at how many rocks are left. You have 5 stones left, and you need 3 of them to count. You maybe could throw 1 more guard, but I think that's about the last time you're going to be able to do that.
No, I'm saying our best bet is hopefully it knows the guard.
All right. Yeah. We're still in it. It's not rocks. I think we have to freeze.
So a timeout is called. Byron Scott will come out and provide his opinions on maybe the best way to go forward with this.
It's easier to get a nose peel than
So that we freeze.
But if we freeze, they blast. Like most we get is 2. Like I don't. They're gonna take guard on the one here. Yeah, they're gonna have to make a play at it. You might get a jam, but you need something to.
What Byron
like,
is saying
make it
is
perfect freeze.
kind of what I was thinking. Guard that one
and they're just
top
going to
8.
blast. They're a very good blast
Tight.
team, so you got to give them some angles. So I'd say, you know, the R in group on financial group there, put a guard there, and then see if they give you anything. Right? You're going to have to manage whatever they leave you now. Right? If seeing whatever shot they leave you. If they nut, you might get a freeze under, right? Don't forget they got a backstone here, right? And that's not in the 4-foot, so still opportunity. You have to find a way to manufacture some opportunity, right? Okay. Keep your heads up.
Yep. So the R? Where was my rock? The first one.
You're like here.
Okay. A little more.
A little bit more.
Yeah, I like that plan of thinking, Tori. I mean, look, you're probably going to need a flash at some point. So,
Or jam.
Yeah, flash or jam or something of the sort. So try to, I do like tossing up a guard here, and your hope that is if you ever do get that flash, then you're setting up something you might be able to hide behind. Then you can maybe hide a couple rocks around those red stones in the rings, and that's probably the most viable chance forward. But it starts with this shot, and you have to just continue to try and make these shots as good as possible. You can't control what the other team is going to do. If the other team makes all their shots, then, you know, good for them. You congratulate them, shake hands, and move on. But
2, 3,
you're definitely
4,
going to have to
5,
make all 5 of your
4,
last rocks if you want a chance here in 8.
3.
No, it was still free.
Are you 3 or 4?
3.
Close to freezing.
3.5.
No, I think we're stopping.
Mine's really good.
16.
You want it
Chris
frozen?
really
Yeah, I think it's stopping.
thinking that
Just
this is
fighting.
okay. I
that's
think
fine.
that rock is
Good, Jordan. Nice shot.
about as good as you can make it.
Yeah, it keeps it nice and close to that red zone, top of the 8-foot, increases the chance of some kind of jam, as you mentioned. Dylan Stockton, just open peel required here.
Great throw, bud. So good.
I think the center line guard.
There. Yeah, throw same thing, I think.
Okay. Go ahead, Thomas.
And just hope they mess up.
Not sure I'm a fan of the guard, Tori. I mean,
You never know.
I didn't mind it last time, but
Yeah.
you need to score 3 and you only have 4 rocks remaining. I would really like making some kind of play. Try to draw around, even draw around both reds, like draw right onto the back line or back 12, around everything. Hope you get a couple misses on the run backs, and then maybe you get opportunities that way.
3!
Yeah.
2, 3!
Yeah.
3!
I don't really know
4!
what
Jordan's rock.
3, 4!
Where?
Always Jordan.
Rock looking a little bit lighter
three.
maybe than
One in deep, yep. Right here.
Than that last
Jordan's,
one,
yeah.
for sure.
but
Nice shot.
putting it in that spot
Shot,
that
Thomas.
our coach Byron was talking about.
Really nice.
Dylan with his second peel of the end. Sweepers seem to like it, and he will make contact. About 3/4, run it through, lose the shooter.
To the top one or back?
Now you have
top
3
one.
yellow stones, need 3 to tie here.
Top or back.
These next 3 shots must be in the rings.
Okay, our best, I mean,
At least if you're on the inside corner, they'll have to come this way if they ever
our best bet is freeze. He tries and peels. This yellow stays here. He misses the run back. That's all I see.
Right here.
And if I'm heavy, maybe a little roll behind.
Rolls away and I like right there.
Yeah.
You got it.
I think you have to
Here,
freeze
give me
those
ice
back ones.
for back 4 and then let them sweep.
Yep,
okay?
15-5 right here.
Yeah, just as Thomas said, make the freeze on this back one, and what you're hoping for is that when Evan MacDougall comes down and tries to pick it out, hopefully he hits it a little thick and maybe it just rolls behind the other red. Now you have one buried. You sink another one. If Evan misses the run back, then you have your shot for 3.
Rocky, okay?
And we have handshakes over on sheet 2. Team Fortin out of Quebec with the victory over the Swiss. They will move on to the semifinals.
Straight, 5, 6, straight, hard.
And I believe, if I'm correct, they will move on to play Dominique Vivier in the semifinals.
Cornering the other one.
Hard, both of
It
you.
looks like we are coming up a little light here on this freeze attempt by Thomas, but not in an awful spot.
Yeah, I got a 15-8. That must have grabbed something.
Taking a look at the
15-8.
updated women's playoffs there. We'll get that back up here in just a second. There we go. So our semifinals are set on the U21 women's side. Top 2 seeds will move on. Team Tarek, number 1, will face off against Team Desura. And Dominique Vivier, number 2, will face off against Team Fortin out of Quebec.
Okay. Yeah, you got it.
Semifinals kick off. First rocks at 3 p.m. local time. So still 2 men's games remaining on the ice. As mentioned, our feature game here we're well versed on. Chance to end the game right now. Team Nichols as well with a lead, 1 sheet over. And he will make contact, remove that last yellow stone from play. And we have handshakes here on sheet 4. Tyler Smith concedes the game to Evan MacDougall. Final score is 7-4. Team MacDougall will move on to the semifinals here at the Canadian Junior Cup, and we'll just see if we can get some updated brackets on the men's side.
I believe they play the winner of our neighbor sheet, Team Garner or Team Nichols.
Just while we transition a couple of cameras over, we'll try and get looks at the final rocks 1 sheet over. But taking a look at the men's bracket here, 1 semifinal is already set as Team McDonald of Manitoba will face off against Team Tremblay of Quebec. We, of course, just saw Team MacDougall with the victory over Team Smith. So they await the winner of the game between Team Nichols and Team Garner. And we have cameras over here now. So we do see that Team Nichols holding a 7-4 lead over Team Garner, throwing the yellow stones. So the red stones with the hammer here, needing 3 to tie the game and force an extra end. Tyler McTavish, the 4-stone thrower for Team Nichols, prepares himself in the hack. Looks like the decision is to... Looks like they've decided to peel the guard and expose that red stone in the back of the 12-foot. So peel the guard off Tori, then we'll likely see Team Garner try and draw around that Yellowstone to the back of the 8-foot, but that red rock back 12 might be a piece buried underneath that yellow, may just be edge on edge, but it would be an open pick for Tyler McTavish on his last for the victory.
Makes the peel.
That red does look exposed on our cameras, but just so you know, this isn't a perfect front-end view as we've just turned our cameras over from our feature sheet. So that red is probably...
It looks to be mostly open.
Yeah, maybe a quarter rock buried underneath that yellow, but it's going to be accessible for Tyler. So the shot call here for Noah Garner to draw around this yellow stone. Back of the 8-foot, sit second and third shot, and your hope is that Tyler misses the pick on his last. First stone here by Noah Garner.
Sweeper's going pretty hard on this one. Looks to be good for being in the paint.
Might be able to get away with a freeze on that yellow stone if he's a little bit light. They will lock it on the corner, but should be pretty easy removal here, Tori, for Tyler McTavish. Make this red stone go away and book your spot in the semifinals. Tyler takes one last look at the broom, takes a breath in the hack, and here we go. Final stone in the 8th.
Hearing the words clean from Owen Nichols.
And
Team Nichols getting the victory, moving on to the semifinals.
So call it the final score. Team Nichols with a 7-4 victory over Team Garner, and they will clinch the final spot in the semifinals here at the World Financial Group Canadian Junior Cup. Taking one last look at our men's playoff bracket. Team Nichols moving on to face Team MacDougall, and Team McDonald will face Team Tremblay. From both of us here in the broadcast booth, we thank you for tuning in for these quarterfinal games. It's a little bit of a break here now on this Monday afternoon, but we will be back at 3 p.m. local